Over the 2 years after my 50th birthday, I started to suffer really bad signs of trauma. I was constantly in a state of fight or flight. I was constantly anxious. And I was also diagnosed around that time with ADHD, which just added more confusion. And I just felt more out of control than ever. And to mask the utter chaos in my mind and body, I chose the only thing that could distract me, which was my work. And I worked harder and I worked longer hours. And I became a little bit obsessed with everything being in order and being perfect, which took hours of my day. But it was better than sitting with the discomfort of that box that I had opened. I have no idea when my eating disorder, the trauma, the ADHD began and ended. It was all a crazy mix, and I had no idea what to do, except I knew I could not go on like this. And I decided that I would tackle the one thing I knew definitely was true, which was that I had an eating disorder. And I thought if I could deal with that, then the other things would become easier. I wish before recovery everyone could get a snapshot of what life would be like without your eating disorder. If we could just give everyone 10 seconds to experience it, so they know it's worth all the hard work of recovery. But that isn't how it works, and we just have to trust the process and do it anyway. And now as a coach, if I can give even just one person that feeling, then all of that recovery work will have been worth it. Having been a lawyer for a long time, I've always been in a position where I've tried to help people who came to me at their most vulnerable and when they feel like their life is out of control. And in many cases, I might be able to make that situation better, and sometimes I could change it dramatically, but in some situations, as a lawyer, I was confined by the law and what actually was possible to be done to help that person. However, being a coach, what I do know is that for my clients, there are no limits on recovery. There is nothing to stop you achieving full recovery, full freedom, and a better life. And it is all possible with the right mindset and every bit of motivation you've got.